I think Kansas City's the dark horse in that division. As good as Patrick Mahomes is, there is no sure thing at their running game. I mean, who's running the ball? I mean,
who's running that ball for him?
And who's he throwing the ball to? I mean, yes, he still has Travis Kelce, which, by the way, they're going to have to pay in the offseason. And Juju Smith-Schuster is a good player. He's good.
Yeah.
He hasn't had a good season in 3 years. Now, are you expecting him to have 1,400 yards, being that Tyreek Hill's gone? I don't think so. And I'm not depending on Hardman. I'm not depending on any of these wide receivers that they have.
Even MVS as well. He's not going to get the job done, is he?
No. And that defense doesn't have the Honey Badger, who I don't think is signing back with them either. So going into the season, they're weak in so many ends. Am I going to bet on them?
I'm not putting a penny on them.
I'm not. As good as Patrick Mahomes is, Patrick Mahomes has never been, really been under pressure. We've seen over the years, Brett Favre, he's lost wide receivers, he lost running backs. Brett Favre, and I'm not saying he's Brett Favre, but he's a gunslinger. That's what Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is more accurate than obviously Brett Favre, and he can run out of the pocket. He's got wheels. Brett Favre didn't.
And throw it lefty sometimes.
Yes, but Patrick Mahomes, we've never seen him be put in this position where he loses a significant amount of pieces because he got that big contract, and now he's got to be the it factor. He's got to be the playmaker. Where everybody says he's the best. Everybody says he's the best quarterback in the NFL. We've seen Aaron Rodgers do it. Aaron Rodgers did it with nobody. He was throwing the ball. Devontae Adams got hurt for that one game. And I think they played Minnesota. And how did they beat Minnesota? With third-string players, okay?
This is it.
And
it's time for Mahomes to step up and show us what he is made of. Throughout that whole time, throwing to Tyreek it's not a bad luxury to have, is it?
No, not at all.
So I wanted to move to Tyreek's new team, Miami, and also Devontae Adams, the two big receivers that got traded. So from a fantasy perspective, we've had a couple fantasy analysts that love it for Hill and love it for Adams and hate it for Hill so far. Where do you stand on that? Do you think they're better or worse fantasy values with their new teams?
Yeah, I literally just did an article on this for 5 Yard Rush. At the time of writing the article, I absolutely hated it for Tyreek. And then I wrote in the article, if Josh McDaniel uses him in that sort of Deebo role that we've seen for the 49ers, I'm going to be all in. And again, it's slowly, since writing the article the other week, it's slowly come out that it looks like that might be the role for Tyreek. And if that is the case, then I'm still going in. Devontae Adams, again, I'm not overly against it in the fact that him and Carr played together at Fresno back in the day. So we all know that Devontae Adams likes a quarterback that he's got chemistry with. And you'd like to think if they played in college together, it won't take them too long to sort of hook that back up. Obviously, I don't think we're going to expect numbers what we've seen at their old irrespective clubs. But we'll see. It's one of those. I'm not against either, to be honest, at the moment.
If I'm in fantasy, I'm all in on Devontae Adams. I'm all in because Derek Carr, he knows him. These guys practice in the offseason together. I mean, they train together. He wanted him to go over there. It wasn't a surprise that he went to the Vegas the Raiders. I hate calling them the Vegas Raiders. They're the Oakland goddamn Raiders, okay?
Exactly.
And so they're still the second most popular team in LA, though.
Yes. So honestly, to me, it wasn't a surprise. I actually made a prediction before the season's end last year. That's where he was going, and I was right about it. And I expect him to have 1,600 yards, 10 touchdowns, 12 touchdowns, and be a big factor in Josh McDaniels' offense. Tyreek Hill, he's going to Tua. He's going to play with Tua.
This is it.
There is no guarantees what Tua's going to be. A matter of fact, is Tua going to stay healthy? Then they have to depend on Teddy Bridgewater, who doesn't stay healthy either. I mean, this is a team, and by the way, this running game is nowhere close, okay? They're nowhere close as good as Jacobs is in that running game with the Raiders. I mean, Jacobs, to me, if Jacobs is 100% healthy, he's the best player on that Oakland Raiders team. He is the best player. Even better than Devontae Adams, okay?
Yeah.
It just, to me, he can't stay healthy. That's been his problem, too.
Yeah, and from a fantasy standpoint, obviously, we've seen him get a lot more involved in the passing game towards the end of last year, which
Draft Jacobs. Everybody, you heard what I said. draft
Absolutely.
Jacobs, because Josh McDaniels, he comes from the Patriot way. And what are the Patriots like doing? They like running the hell out of their running backs and having them catch in the backfield. So expect him to be an all-around running back this year in your fantasy on your fantasy team.
Not only that, probably everyone's going to overdraft Jalen Richard, too, because they're going to expect to use him like James White or something like that. So another guy that's actually, Deebo Samuel actually took away all the 49ers information off of his social media. So could they trade him? We'll see. Does he want to get paid over $20 million a year?
Trade him to my Jets, goddammit.
It's very possible with those connections. So is there a destination that you think Deebo Samuel, outside of San Francisco, will strive for fantasy purposes because of the hybrid type player that he is? And do you see San Francisco bringing him back?
For me, I've not really thought too much of where he'd go, purely because I think he's going to stay at San Francisco. It's just he's seen everybody else around him getting paid, and he's just sort of throwing his toys out the pram, just as sort of a marker to say, actually, let's get this contract sorted, and that's it. So I've not really thought of anywhere where he would go as such. To me, I just think it's all a marketing ploy just to obviously get that hype up for that big payday that he's seen. Like I say, we've seen Diggs get the big money. And after the role he played for the 49ers last year, obviously, Deebo thinks he's worth that money as well. So, or thereabouts. Obviously, he's not, but he thinks he's entitled to a payday, which obviously looks like is what he's trying to do.
He's entitled for a lot of paydays. I mean, this guy has been – last year he was – to me, he was the third or fourth best wide receiver in all of football. And that's crazy to say when you look at the season of Jamar Chase, Devontae Adams, and all the other Jefferson, Kupp. Yeah. I mean, all those guys. And he was the fourth best wide receiver out of all of them. He deserves and to me, he's the best all-around wide receiver in football. You can use him as a running back. You can use him as a wide receiver. You can even see him throw footballs and actually throw touchdowns, which we saw in the playoffs as well. So I expect him to get a lot of money. I expect him if he doesn't get at all for some time before the draft, I could see them trading him. I absolutely could see him trading him, and a team that I would love to see him go to is the Jets. But there's no short things with the Jets because they already made their move for DK Metcalf. It didn't work. Yeah. Tyreek Hill, it didn't work. So what do the Jets have to do? You know what Joe Douglas should do is he should sell everybody his dirty underwear, and maybe he'll get them. I don't know what. Maybe he'll smell the Seattle Seahawks out so they can get DK Metcalf. I don't want DK Metcalf, by the way. And of all the different wide receivers I've heard, I don't want him. I don't want him. As everybody knows, we are talking to B-Roto fantasy football writer Luke Renton. Looking at your top 5 fantasy choices going into this year's fantasy draft, who do you got and why do you got them there?
So when I do my fantasy homework as such, obviously I look at each position into where I'm going to be looking. So straight away I'm looking at the quarterback position. And for me, obviously, the go-tos is obviously Josh Allen and all that kind of thing. And even Patrick Mahomes is still going quite high. I'm looking at Justin Herbert and even Joe Burrow as well. Towards the end of last season, Joe Burrow was stacking up stupid numbers in terms of fantasy. Obviously, when he was throwing 400 yards a game and all these touchdowns, obviously. So I'm looking at those two players there as my go-to quarterbacks. At running back, obviously, I like a receiving running back, but there's only one guy you're going to be targeting at running back as if your hands are tied, and that's Jonathan Taylor. But away from that, if he's gone off the board, I'm all in on Austin Eckler as that receiving back. Again, I know he's had his injury problems, but I'm all in. Obviously, wherever I'm drafting, I'm going in for Austin Eckler. And at wide receiver, again, it's just the basics of I'm looking at those two youngsters every single time. Is Chase, Justin Jefferson, and that's it. And my big sleeper, the tight end position, I've mentioned him already earlier on, is Smith. I think he's going to have a cracking year this year as well. So I sort of segment it into different areas and look at a couple of players that I'm going to look at. And I look at the benefits from a fantasy point of view. Like I say, at running back, I want somebody who's going to catch that ball in the backfield. And again, even looking at the rookies that are coming through, Breece Hall's a man that I'm going to be looking at as well, providing he lands at a right place. And again, I'm a big fan of Rashard White as well. He's another big passing back as well.
I think would be steal later in the rounds is Deshaun Watson. Now, I think he's going to be. I think he'll be suspended for 5 or 6 games, but You bring him back, the Browns, he's a running quarterback. He can throw.
Yeah.
I expect him with the weapons he has over there to be an explosion right when he steps on the field. I think if you have a 10th or 11th pick and you're picking your second quarterback, I would absolutely look in bringing in Deshaun Watson as your second
Especially
quarterback.
if you have an IR or like NA slot on your
format. That's it.
So,
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's it.
Absolutely.
So my last question, one sleeper of any position of this year for fantasy football, and one guy that you think is going to be overdrafted or drafted too high that's not going to produce as high as you think.
Kind of touched on them both already. Obviously, we know my big sleeper is, I've said numerous times everywhere, that tight end position is obviously one where we struggle a lot with, quite often tend to stream and pick and kick out players if you don't draft one of the top 4 or 5 draft tight ends. So my sleeper is Irv Smith, purely because I think he's going to get a lot of action, providing he stays fit. The player I'm avoiding this year is actually Patrick Mahomes, purely because he's lost his weapons, and I don't think when you've lost somebody like the cheetah, that takes away a big part of your game. I know he's still got Kelsey there, but yeah, like you say, obviously I don't think he's going to produce anywhere near. And you look at the defense he's got to play against. He's going to struggle. So I'm not in on Patrick Mahomes this year.
As everybody knows, we are talking to B-Roto fantasy football writer Luke Renton. And before we let you go, I'm going to start a fantasy worldwide sports radio league this year. I'd love for you to join it. We're going to have a bunch of fantasy gurus I'm going to reach out to that are going to join it. We're going to have like a jackpot. Everybody will throw a couple of bucks in. And, you know, being on this show, we like to talk crap and throughout our network. So, you know, usually I'm pretty good at, you know, when it comes to fantasy. I do come into time. This year has been my worst year. This past year was my worst year in fantasy.
Really?
Yeah, because all my players got hurt, like, in the first 5 weeks. So I was crawling to the finish line, okay? It was just...
This is it.
It was horrible. I didn't have any luck this year. But this coming year, I'm going to outsmart everybody because I'm going to do some crazy stuff.
This is it. This is your year. I'm going to say, to be fair, I've never seen so many injuries in a season. Ever.
Oh, my God.
Never seen so many injuries in
Watch
a season.
out, and I'll say this on the Jet. I'm not saying because he's a Jet. Watch out for Uzma. I expect him to have a very big season for the New York Jets. I think the Jets are going to use him a lot, especially in that offense. So I was very excited when I saw them brought Uzama, and Uzama is a guy that could do everything. So I expect him to have a good season. But we really appreciate you joining us, Bud. And
thank you for your time, gents.
We would love to get you on. I really appreciate you staying up 3 o'clock in the morning over there in England.
I'm going to say it's time for bed, I think.
But I'll tell you this: when we do come to England, I love to go check out London. We'll go out there and party together, man.
Absolutely. We'll sort some out.
Absolutely, man. Maybe we'll go to what football games we have in England this year. Speedy, you have any thoughts? I know the Jaguars will be playing in one of those games.
Yeah, we've got the Jaguars and the Green Bay Packers are over here as well for the first time.
They're not scheduled. They're not scheduled yet because the schedule didn't come out.
No,
yet.
but they're one of the teams.
The Jaguars are always one of the teams, and I think Atlanta was rumored to have one too.
Atlanta was last year.
Yeah, but I think they're rumored to have another one again this year.
Jaguars and Green Bay Packers so far. We're still waiting for the other teams.
Oh, okay.
So you know what? The Packers will be good.
So maybe we'll come out there and go watch a football game together, man.
Absolutely,
I love it.
Absolutely.
Why not go to London and go watch a football game?
Luke would love to go watch the Packers lose in London.
I'm all in on that.
Well, that's all we got to say about that. But Luke, we really appreciate you staying up and joining us.
Thank you.
Absolutely, you're awesome. We'll get you on again. Speedy will reach out to you.
Absolutely.
Really do appreciate it. As after the draft, maybe we'll add you to our draft show, and that'll be fun. We do a draft show. Yeah. We do a draft show, and we go through the first round, and we kind of, we do our, our top 1 to 31. We do our picks. Maybe we'll have you added into the stream. So we predict what's going to happen from 1 to 30.
Derek Stingley to the Vikings at 13. There you go.
Yeah, maybe could happen. It absolutely could happen. Is that where they're drafting 13?
13, yep.
Oh, so they could get Stingley. Absolutely, they could get Stingley. 13 to 10. I think the Jets would trade with them. Absolutely.
Not a massive drop. Not a massive drop in the grand scheme of things.
I think it's I think it's doable if they really want Stingley. I think Stingley is there at 10 or 11. That's where I think he's going to go.
Yeah, so, I agree. I think that's
could happen. It could happen.
It's changed a good bit, hasn't it now? So we'll see.
Absolutely. Thank Luke.
Thank you, guys. All the best.